My parents canceled my 25th birthday because my sister had an emergency. 9 years later, I discovered the emergency never happened. And by the time the truth came out, my entire family was begging me for something I no longer had to give. I was 25 years old when I finally believed things were changing. Not because I cared about birthday parties. I was too old for that. But because for the first time in my life, my parents had actually planned something for me. A dinner. Nothing fancy. Just family. My parents. My younger sister Rachel. A few relatives. That was enough. Because when you're raised as the overlooked child, even small gestures feel enormous. My entire childhood revolved around Rachel. Rachel's dance competitions. Rachel's school awards. Rachel's emotions. Rachel's problems. Rachel's dreams. If Rachel sneezed, the entire household stopped moving. If I achieved something, people nodded politely and changed the subject. I learned very early that attention was a resource in my family. And Rachel owned all of it. Still, when my 25th birthday arrived, I felt hopeful. Stupidly hopeful. I even left work early. Bought a new shirt. Made a reservation at the restaurant my parents chose. For once, I wanted to enjoy being their son. At 5:17 p.m., my phone rang. Mom. I smiled and answered. Hey. She sounded frantic. Sweetheart, we have to cancel. My stomach dropped. What happened? It's Rachel. Instantly. Always Rachel. Is she okay? Mom hesitated. Then said. She's in the hospital. Everything inside me stopped. The birthday vanished from my mind. Which hospital? We're heading there now. Dad grabbed the phone. Don't worry about dinner. We'll explain later. Then the line went dead. I spent the entire night terrified. Calling. Texting. Waiting. No answers. No updates. Nothing. The next morning, Rachel finally texted. I'm okay now. That was it. No explanation. No details. Nothing. When I asked what happened, she replied. Family stuff. Family stuff. I hated those two words. Because in my family, family stuff usually meant stop asking questions. A week later, I tried bringing it up. Dad immediately got defensive. Why are you obsessed with this? I stared at him. Obsessed? I thought Rachel almost died. Mom crossed her arms. Not everything is about you. And somehow, I ended up apologizing. That became the pattern. Every time I asked about the emergency, people got angry. So eventually I stopped. But something never felt right. Years passed. I got married. Built a business. Bought a house. Started a family. Meanwhile, Rachel drifted through life creating chaos everywhere she went. Job after job. Relationship after relationship. Always rescued. Always protected. Always somebody else's responsibility. Usually my parents. Then came the phone call that changed everything. 9 years later. My father suffered a stroke. Not fatal. But serious enough that he needed long-term care. My mother couldn't handle everything alone. For the first time in decades, the family gathered together regularly. And that's when cracks started appearing. One evening I was helping organize old paperwork in my parents' basement. Medical files. Insurance records. Tax documents. Normal stuff. Then I found a folder. Dated the exact month of my 25th birthday. At first I ignored it. Then curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. and immediately felt my heart stop. Hospital records. Not Rachel's. My mother's. Routine blood work. Checkups. Nothing serious. Nothing urgent. Nothing connected to the night my birthday was cancelled. I searched further. No ambulance records. No emergency admission. No hospital visit for Rachel. Nothing. I spent 3 hours going through every document. Every file. Every medical statement. Every insurance record. There was no emergency. Not even a minor one. I drove home feeling sick. Because there were only 2 possibilities. Either records had vanished somehow. Or I had been lied to. The next day I confronted Rachel. She laughed. Actually laughed. At first I thought she misunderstood. Then she looked at me and said, "Wait. You still believe that story?" My blood ran cold. What story? Her smile disappeared instantly. She realized she'd said too much. Silence. Heavy silence. Then she whispered, "Oh God." "What story, Rachel?" She looked terrified. Not guilty. Terrified. Like someone standing on thin ice hearing cracks underneath them. Then came twist number 1. Rachel started crying. Real crying. Not manipulation. Not theatrics. Actual tears. There was never an emergency. I felt numb. Completely numb. What? There was never a hospital. I stared at her. Waiting. Hoping. Begging for some explanation that made sense. Instead she said, "Mom made it up." The room started spinning. According to Rachel, the truth was ridiculous. Humiliating. Pathetic. And devastating. That night, my parents received a call from a wealthy family friend. Someone they desperately wanted to impress. The friend invited them to a private event attended by local politicians and business owners. My birthday dinner conflicted with it. So my mother came up with a solution. Invent an emergency. Cancel everything. Go to the event. Deal with me later. I sat there speechless. You let me believe you were in the hospital for 9 years. Rachel looked away. I was 19. You could have told me. I tried. Then came twist number 2. Rachel reached into a drawer. Pulled out an old envelope. And handed it to me. Inside was a letter. Addressed to me. Dated 9 years earlier. My hands shook as I opened it. It was from Rachel. The letter explained everything. The fake emergency. The lie. The cancelled birthday. Everything. At the bottom was a note. I wanted to tell you. Mom found this and ripped it up. I'm writing another copy in case I ever get the chance. I looked up slowly. Mom destroyed your letter? Rachel nodded. Suddenly my entire image of the family shifted. Because all these years I blamed Rachel. But Rachel had been trapped too. Different role. Same system. The golden child wasn't actually free. She was just controlled differently. I left without saying another word. That night I couldn't sleep. Because one question kept replaying. Why? Why destroy a letter? Why maintain a lie for nearly a decade? The answer arrived a week later. And it was worse than anything I'd imagined. My mother finally confessed. Not voluntarily. Because she got caught. We were sitting together discussing Dad's care arrangements when I confronted her directly. I know there was never an emergency. She froze. For several seconds nobody moved. Then she quietly asked. Rachel told you? I nodded. And finally, the truth came out. The event they attended that night wasn't just social. My father was secretly trying to secure an executive position through connections. A position he believed would transform the family's future. He thought my birthday dinner was an inconvenience, an obstacle, a distraction. And my mother chose his ambition over me. Just like that. No dramatic reason. No noble sacrifice. No life or death situation. Just networking. My 25th birthday was sacrificed for networking. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was so unbelievably small. 9 years of lies. For something that pathetic. Then came the final twist. The job never happened. The promotion failed. The connections went nowhere. The opportunity collapsed weeks later. They threw away my birthday. Destroyed trust. Maintained a decade-long lie. And gained absolutely nothing. That realization broke my mother. Because for the first time she saw it clearly. Not as a parent defending a decision. Not as a wife supporting her husband. But as a person looking at the damage. And realizing it had all been pointless. A few months later, my father's health worsened. Medical bills increased. Stress increased. Everything became harder. Then one evening my mother quietly asked, "Can you help us?" I knew what she meant. Money. Time. Support. Caregiving. Everything. For years I would have said yes immediately. But something had changed. Not because of anger. Because of clarity. I looked at her and said, "I'll make sure you're safe." She nodded hopefully. Then I continued. "But I won't pretend we're close." The tears started immediately. Because she finally understood. The thing she needed wasn't money. It was forgiveness. And forgiveness isn't something you can demand after 9 years of deception. Today I'm 34. Dad is still alive. Mom still calls occasionally. Rachel and I are closer than we've ever been. Ironically, the sister I blamed for years became the only person honest enough to tell me the truth. Sometimes people ask whether I got revenge. No. Life handled that part itself. The career opportunity they chose over me disappeared. Their perfect image disappeared. Their family trust disappeared. And in the end, the emergency that truly destroyed our family wasn't Rachel's fake hospital visit. It was the moment my parents decided their son's love was worth less than one evening of networking. Because some bills don't arrive immediately. Some take 9 years. And when they finally come due, they cost far more than anyone expected.